with us today we have Dawn Bouchard from Shirley's Greenhouse. And we want to welcome you, Dawn.
Thank you.
And why don't you take us down memory lane and let us know what got you into farming?
I'm a second generation producer. So Shirley's Greenhouse was actually started 25 to 30 years ago by Ted and Shirley Van Teenhoven out by Airdrie. And so it was a little 26,000 square foot greenhouse. And my parents grew long English cucumbers, and they mostly sold them to the warehouses in Calgary to go to grocery stores. So that's kind of how, so I was born into it. And then 13 years ago, they sold and we built. And so that's kind of where we're at. We've got Shirley's Greenhouse. We do it totally different now than what my parents did, though. So,
why don't you tell us a little bit about that, and then also tell us about what kind of products you are growing.
Okay, so when we started, we were going to do long English cucumbers for the wholesaler, just like my parents did. And so we started off doing that, long English cucumbers. We bring them to the warehouse, and the straw that broke the camel's back for us was when the warehouse offered us $5.25 per dozen on our long English in the month of March, when we have our big $10,000 natural gas bill due. And we said, well, that doesn't pay the bills. And so they said, take it or leave it. We can get it from Mexico for that price. So that's kind of when we started changing. And so I, that summer, then went to one farmer's market. And the next summer went to 2 farmers markets. And the next summer went to 3 farmers markets. And I first started going with just cucumbers, and then we added a few tomato plants. So then we had cucumbers and tomatoes. And then, then if we're going to go with cucumbers and tomatoes, we may as well do cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers. And then we started adding that way. And then about 6 years ago, something like that, we decided, well, if we're going to go to a farmer's market with cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers, well, we may as well take potatoes, carrots, onions, and beets. So we started into the field. So we went from 1 acre of field crop to 3 acres of field crop to 6 acres of field crop to 10 acres of field crop. And this year we're over 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I love that what you're saying there is that you started with one thing, and then you just built from there. Was that, yes. Did you feel like that was a great strategy?
For sure, because the reason we did that, to take it back to, was the pricing. So we couldn't survive on the wholesale pricing that we got. You have to be really, really big. You have to have 10 acres of greenhouse to survive that kind of pricing. And so an average $1 a dozen cucumbers from a farm is $7 from the farm to the warehouse. And then the warehouse is about $12 to the store, or the store will buy it for $12, and then the customer will buy it from anywhere from $15 to $24 a dozen. Doing farmers markets, I get anywhere from $18 to $24 a dozen. So that's why we do it. We cut out the middle guys. Or when you work with a great opportunity like YYC Growers, then it's higher. We get paid a higher dollar amount, which helps our farm. So it's a great opportunity.
Right on. Yeah. So that's a great point. And maybe something that people don't always realize is that farmers going direct to consumers does get the farmer a better price.
Yes. Well, and then it's about relationship too. So I love farmers markets because I know my customers. I'm sitting here in front of Olds Uptown Market, our market store, and as people walk in and out of the building, I know them. I say hello, thanks for supporting my farm, things like that. It's more relational than just going to a grocery store, picking up your cucumber and not having a clue who buys it. And that's who grew it, sorry. And that's why things like this Zoom meeting today is great, because it connects the farm, the producer, with the product. And that's just amazing.
That is amazing. In letting people know that you were going to be on the call, I used the hashtag #WomenWhoFarm. Have you used that one before in your farming operation?
Well, I don't use hashtags, but maybe I should. Yeah. So on our farm, it is a partnership. So I do have a business partner. But if you were to say, like, who's the boss on the farm or who's the boss in our companies, yep, Pick me. I am the one that mostly runs everything. So
There you go.
yeah,
Hashtag women who farm.
but it takes a great team though. I cannot do anything without the team that I have behind me. And so it takes a village. So this year we've got about 12 employees on farm full time, and many hands make light work. But if you look at my hands, here, can you see my hands? I'm just really good at telling everybody what to do.
They look pretty clean.
Well, here, see, I get my nails.
Oh, look at that. Amazing.
So, yes, I am a farmer, but I'm a different kind of farmer. I'm good at telling people what to do.
You hustle, Dawn, is what we know about you.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and maybe just in light of that, how many markets are you at this year?
Oh, I get around. So I just counted the other day, I'm in 10 or 12 locations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners where they might be able to go see you in the flesh?
Well, YYC Growers.
Yep.
Well, where to find me?
Yeah.
Like to meet me? Oh, I get around. I'm at Hillhurst on Wednesdays personally. And I'm at Bears Pond Sundays personally. Not every Sunday, but most Sundays. I'm going to be in Okotoks on some Saturday, like most Saturdays, myself personally. But then I've got staff. It takes a great village of people. So when you're at 3 different markets on a Wednesday night, let's say, I do one, but then I've got 2 other people that do markets as well. Do you want me to talk about how we grow hydroponics? Because there's a lot of education, I think, around that. People kind of worry when they hear the word hydroponics. So do you want me to share about that?
I would love you to share about that.
So in our greenhouse, in the field we grow in dirt, but in the greenhouse we grow hydroponically. And people always say, are you organic? And I say no. And the reason we're not organic is because we don't grow in dirt. So people say, but you are pesticide free. And I say, yes, we're pesticide free unless certified organic product is used. So as far as the herbicide, fungicide, and insecticide, we use the same methods as every other organic grower everywhere. But the reason we're not organic is because we don't grow in dirt. We grow hydroponically, which what that means is we send a water sample away, we get it back, and then it tells us all those nutrients that the plants need to grow. So plants need nutrients to grow. And so what we do is we do a fertilizer blend actually. And so it's down to the gram even as to what we put in. Do we put like calcium and magnesium and iron and copper and all these little things so that it's perfect food for those plants to grow. And that's how we get the good production in the greenhouse. And so whether plants get those nutrients from like manure or compost, or they get it from like it's the same like it's the nutrients. All plants need nutrients to grow. So people get worried about it, but it's nothing, like it's just nutrients. That's all we use. It's just nutrients. Also in our industry, we use good bugs to eat bad bugs. So every greenhouse grower every greenhouse grower in the whole province will spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on good bugs to eat the bad bugs. So that's the first response in every greenhouse is just for bug pest control is just good bugs. So can you
give me a couple examples? You were going to go there anyways.
Yeah, so one ladybug is cute, but when you have 10,000 of them crawling up your arm, they're pretty gross. Like, and so, yeah, so we'll use ladybugs. We use colmani, which is because aphids are our worst enemy in peppers. And so we use colmani. So that's a stinging wasp. So it'll sting the aphid and then it'll I don't know, it dies. And then we use fiddle ladies, so that's like a little orange worm and it will eat the aphids. Ladybugs we use Incarcia, so that goes after whitefly. I can't remember what we use for the thrip, but anyways, we use all kinds of bugs. There's bug companies out there and we spend piles of money every month on bugs.
Which is so much better than fungicides and pesticides, because we know that those things do damage well, it's so
plants. Natural, right? Predator prey. So that's the thing. When we get aphids, sometimes they'll say, well, the recommended dose is 1 bottle. I'm like, put 3 in just to get rid of them. So if you put too many predators in, the prey don't stand a chance.
But so then what happens to the predators once they've eaten the prey?
Well,
or no,
then they
the
die.
other way around.
Then they die.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the wasps don't come after you.
No. They're so tiny. They're so little. What keeps me doing it? Well, the bank. The bank likes their mortgage payment every month, and so I kind of have to keep going. That's the honest answer. Yeah. But I do love the local food system. Like, I love the customers and the relationship and meeting people and, providing really good food. There's nothing better than when a parent will say to me, my kids won't eat vegetables, but they'll eat your vegetables, Dawn. Well, right there, that's all the reward I need. Yeah, so I'm on the Alberta Greenhouse Growers Association board. And again, I've been in the industry so long. So in our industry, in the greenhouse industry in Alberta, we have big greenhouses that grow cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers. Like, really, there's not a reason that I can see, maybe a little bit in the dead of winter, because there's not as many greenhouses with grow lights, but there's not a reason to buy in Alberta. If you live in Alberta, there's no reason to buy an imported from almost even another province cucumber, tomato, or pepper, because Alberta, we've got it's sunny here. Like, it's just a great place to grow these things in greenhouses. And greenhouses, like, I sometimes get asked, well, why don't you grow zucchini in the greenhouse? Well, because it's not a high production item. Cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers, they're high production. And so that it just makes sense for Alberta to grow high producing, items in the greenhouse so that Albertans can have that fresh, local, cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers. Alberta has a great program called Alberta Open Farm Days. And so that's where you can go on, you can plan a route out, and you can go visit a whole bunch of different farms. And so look that up. It's in August sometime. And so that's when I kind of open my farm up for people to come for tours. So bring them out, and I'll show you around the greenhouse, and I'll show you around the field. And yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
That would be very cool. And it's still going ahead this summer, right?
Yeah, so I spoke to Alberta Open Farm Days, and they're going to go ahead. I'm sure it's going to look a little bit different, but we are able to go ahead with it. So
brilliant. Well, and farm, like the rural farms have a lot of space, so easy to do some social distancing. Plus, we continue to build those bridges between our urban eaters and our rural growers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's that's why I love this whole local food movement, is because it does bridge that gap. It's the education and that bridge between, it's sad when a little kid goes into the grocery store and thinks that a carrot comes from a grocery store, where what they need to know is that carrot comes from the dirt. And so if they can come to the farm, pull that carrot out of the dirt, wipe it on their pants, and eat it, that's the best carrot you'll ever eat, is the one that, has a little dirt on it.
What do you love about YYC Growers? Why do you partner with YYC Growers?
YYC Growers is great because they it's a collaboration of farms, so it's teamwork. And so the farms come together and we work as a team, and that way we can get local food out to people. And so that's just great. And it partners urban and rural and farmers from all different makes and models, which is really cool. And that's why I love YYC Growers. And they move a lot of product, honestly. Like, yeah, they help the farm.
You are our queen through March and April for sure.
I don't know about that, but okay. Yeah. But that's the thing. In Alberta, cucumber, tomato, pepper season is like, yeah, cucumbers March, and tomatoes April, peppers. Yeah, like that's the season. When you talk about eating local, it's seasonality. And so corn is ate in August, asparagus is ate in June. Cucumbers, tomatoes, and peppers, well, they can be eaten year round.
is the most satisfying thing for you about farming?
The customers, that relationship, the people. When I, like, the farming is good, don't get me wrong. Well, it's hard. It's very hard sometimes. And depending, just so everyone knows, the farm's always for sale. Depending on the day, the price goes up and down. Some days I'd give it away. Sometimes it's, you know, a really high price tag. But the most satisfying thing for me, and it's me personally, like as a human being, I love the relationship and the people. So when I hear people say, you know, I love your candy tomatoes, or you know, my kids won't eat, that's like the king of everything. That's why I do what I do. Like that's so rewarding, is the people and the relationship, and that's the best thing about farming for me. Community.
Brilliant, Dawn. It has been so good to catch up with you.